Hey, it's Matt Pinfield. It's KLOS New and Approved. And right now, from the road on tour, it's my dear friend, the great Art Alexakis from the band Everclear. Art, always such a great thing to see you, man. You know, you're a brother to me.
It's great to see him.
You know? Hey, so let's talk about the new record. It's really exciting. It just came out this past week, September 8th, which is really great. And we've been waiting for this record to come out. It's live at the Whisky A Go-Go. Can you tell me about how great that show was that evening? I was honored to do the introduction that evening. But can you talk about how it's a place that you give me your background with the Whisky and how you had never played there before?
Yeah. Well, first of all, great to see him, Matthew. You know, we're brothers. We go back, 30-something years?
Yes.
35 years, something
35.
like that.
Yeah.
Something crazy. But thank you for being a part of our 30th anniversary last year and working with us and just being there for me as a friend. And, you know, it's like that show, as you know, was our last show of the 30th anniversary tour. And we got offered, that's kind of a small room for us, a little bit on the small side. And but we were offered it, and I'm like, man, I've never played the Whisky. I don't know why. Other bands have played there. You know, friends of mine have played there. I've done bad things backstage there many times. I did fist fights, had sex, did drugs, you know, all that stuff back in the day. Raging drunk in the late 70s, early 80s when I shouldn't even have been in there. But never played there. So when I got the chance to play there, we did. And then a friend of ours, a mutual friend, Steve, you know, Tim Devine, over at I know him from Capitol, but now he's over at Sunset Boulevard Records, and asked me if I wanted to do an album, an original record. And I'm like, absolutely not. I have no urge to do a record. He goes, how about a live album? And I go, okay. So we went to do it, and reached out to you to introduce us, and you came down and introduced us. You're on the album. You have your own track. It's called Introduction.
It's great. I was honored to do it, man. It was really what a great moment that was to see you guys play there. And you're right, it was an underplay because you could definitely sell that out 4 times over. But it's so legendary, knowing that the Doors had played there and the Byrds and Guns N' Roses and a million other bands, right?
A million other bands. Yeah. Cheap Trick just put out a live album there from 1977. I don't know if you've heard it, but it came out last year. And we got offered that show, and we were already, Freddie, my bass player, you know Freddie, he's a huge Cheap Trick fan like me. He had this. Now, this was recorded before In Color came out, like right before it came out. And it's awesome. They're so punk rock. It's so it just is blazing. But we decided to do the one show. And as you know, most live albums are like from multiple shows, 2 or 3 shows at least, and they get different versions. This was going to be a one-time Charlie, man. Just, we're going to do, you know, if we needed to get 15 great songs, and we did. And we also have 2 studio tracks on there. One that's called Year of the Tiger that came out last year, and a brand new single that dropped on the 8th. The video for it dropped on September 8th, and that's called Sing Away, which was on my solo album originally. But yeah, man, I've got a big history with all the, you know, I grew up in Santa Monica, as you know, on the west side. So I've got relationships with all those clubs. But now finally we played at the Whisky, and now it's not just a live album on vinyl, it's a double live album. And you're old enough to know how cool that is to have a double live album.
Yeah, we used to love that when we were kids, you know what I mean? We loved the studio albums, but a double live was like, you know, you would get excited about that. And it kind of meant a band had arrived if they had a double live album, right?
You've arrived. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It was full on cred, man. As a rock band to have a double live album. And it's beautiful. It's on Coke bottle green, 180 gram vinyl. I'm just really happy with what's going on with the band. We've had one of the biggest years that we've had in a long time. We're killing it live. We're killing it with people. And I'm just just grateful. You know, I'm sober. I'm as healthy as I can be with my MF. I'm doing everything best I can, and just I'm just blessed right now.
Yeah, and you're doing great. You know, I got to bring you on stage over in Arizona outside of Phoenix at a Mason Music Festival, and it
Yeah.
was great because people were literally like surrounding the neighborhoods for the show. It was like people as far as your eye could see to see you guys perform it. It was such a great show and a beautiful evening to be there to watch you do your thing, and you sounded great as you always do. And what a legacy of
Thanks,
great
brother.
songs to pull from now too. You know, it's always that's the thing that's great when you've made that many strong and really iconic albums. And you know, it's funny how you and I, when we're together, there have been many times where people come up to you or people that I know and go, "Oh, that record of Arts, that Everclear album." Changed my life or got me through this. And how does that feel after all this time? Isn't it great to know that you've had that kind of effect emotionally and spiritually on fans?
Absolutely, on anybody. And you know what I usually tell them is, thank you, man. I'm very grateful for that record and those records, and the fact that they've been of service to people. Because you know, in our world, being of service is a huge part of the triangle. And I'm just grateful that I can do that with my music, and still to this day. And I talk to people all the time. You know what's amazing is that, and you saw it at that show, in that Arizona show, I think we talked about it, how many young people are coming out to our shows, like people in their teens and 20s and early 30s that weren't even around barely, or when those albums came out originally. And I talk to the kids and they tell me it's because there's just no, they feel like the 90s was the last vestige of just real original rock and roll. And, um, they go through and pick bands, and a lot of them pick us, and that's cool.
It is
I'm
great.
really grateful.
It's
Yeah.
amazing too, and it's a handful of bands certainly, and from that really great era where it was people doing their own thing in the '90s, which was great, and like making there were so many great albums like your albums that came out that spoke for the young people of the time, and have that kind of holdover where it's generational now, where it's also matters in speaking to other young people, and I think that has a lot to do with the honesty and emotion in the songs. It also has to do with the sense of melody, excuse me, and that real visceral ferocity that that comes from it being really honest and being real, right? I mean,
I appreciate you saying it. I think so. I think it's genuine, you know. I think people love a storyteller. I love a storyteller. So most of my songs, as you know, are from first person uh, narrative. And I think that connects with a lot of people. Some people not so much. It wasn't really a thing that a lot of bands did in the 90s, but we did it. We were a singer-songwriter and a hard rock / punk rock band. And to be honest with you, that's all I ever wanted to do. I remember on my birthday, my 16th birthday, hearing Van Halen Eruption on the radio. I was in the back of a car doing bad things with a friend of mine's big sister. And
I love that. That's great.
and Eruption came on. I'm like, man, I'm never going to be the best guitar player in the world. Not after that guy. And I love when they went into "You Really Got Me." I love those big guitars and drums. And then the next song they played was Elvis Costello, "Watching the Detectives," and I'm like, oh my God, what an amazing song and voice! I go, I want to do that. I want to write songs like that with that kind of like political vitriol and just intensity with that kind of guitar sound. And if you think about it, that's kind of what we are. And I think that connects with people, and it connects with a lot of young people today that have grown up with a lot of pop. There's a lot of pop music out there, and some people just don't connect to it like they do to rock music. And so it's exciting. I don't think it's just us. I think, like you said, there's a handful of 90s bands that are really, really benefiting from this revival. And it's just exciting to see it play out. I'm just glad to be a part of it, man. As long as I get to play guitar for a living, go home to my family, spend time with my sober fellowship, and just try to be as healthy as I can, try to eat healthy and keep my people ask me how my MS is doing. I'm like, we're in a Mexican standoff, and that's okay with me.
Yeah.
It's like,
That's great. Yeah.
I'm not winning, they're not winning.
Yeah.
It's not winning. We're just holding tight.
Yeah.
That's
Which
cool.
which is a great thing, but I mean it's been the shows have just been great, and your performances, and I got to say you are no worse for the wear when it comes to any effect on your performances, and you being the Art Alexakis that we all know and love, your fans, which is great. Talk to me about some of the shows coming up locally. You've got a show coming up at the Wiltern. Can we talk about that?
Absolutely. So we're on a tour right now. It just started yesterday. It goes for about 6 weeks. It's with the Ataris, who you know, and the Pink Spiders, great band out of Nashville, Tennessee. I'm in Nashville, Indiana today, so that's close, but not right there.
I didn't know that there was more than one
touring.
Nashville, but I'm learning. And you find that there's certain city names that are in every state, and you're like, but there's a Manchester, New Hampshire. There's a Manchester, Vermont. There's a Manchester, New York. There's a Manchester, California. You know what I mean? It's like those names.
Westchester. There's Westchesters everywhere. There's but there's like 22. I looked it up. There's like 22 Nashvilles. Crazy.
Yeah.
And so we're touring all over the country, but we come back to the West Coast towards the end of the tour, and we played the Wiltern, one of my favorite places to play. And we're playing there Monday night, October 9th, I believe. And then we're we're finishing the tour like we have for the last 3 years out at Pappy and Harriet's out in Pioneer Town out near Palm Springs.
Yeah.
And we're doing that on the 15th, the next Sunday. So it's going to be great. We're playing Temecula that week. There's all sorts of dates. If you go on everclearmusic.com, you can check out all our tour dates and tickets and VIPs and all that stuff if people are interested in it.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
And I'm sure they are, which is great. Art, I'm very excited about this. Congratulations on that new record. I'm so excited to have been there that evening, to have been a part of the record. I love the colored vinyl. It's great, you know what I mean? And, it's just what an incredible record. So thanks so much for doing this. We're going to play a bunch of tracks off it, and we are
awesome.
We're going to hook up when you get back for the Wiltern. I'll be coming back from Sacramento from Aftershock, so I'll be flying in just in time for the show, which would be great.
Oh, great. I look forward to you and Kara coming out to the show. And you know what, man? I got some vinyl waiting for you at home. I got 3 pieces just waiting for you.
All right, that sounds amazing. I look forward to it. Art, say my love to the rest of the guys in the band, Freddie and everybody. Make sure you say hi to them all from us. Okay?
I will. Be well.
The guys are great, and it's great to catch up with you here. All right?
Always good to talk to you, brother.
All right, much
Bye-bye.
love to you, Art. Okay? Thanks so much for joining us today. Art Alexakis, everybody. The new album is Live to Whisky a Go-Go. It was just released last week, and it's available on that colored vinyl. It's so exciting. And it's always great to have Art as a guest here on KLOS New and Approved. Thanks for watching us and listening. I'm Matt Pinfield, and I'll be back with you soon.